All queries running on a production system should be supported by an index, but indexes come at a cost. We should only create the minimum amount of indexes needed to support our queries. To make sure that we only create the indexes that we need, we must understand our key queries and query patterns for critical workloads. In this video, we'll identify and analyze key queries for an example app in order to determine how many indexes we need to create. In our example, we're working on a messaging application that is used by a financial institution, Leafy Bank, for secure and seamless communication with their customers. MongoDB stores several collections for this application. For this demo, we'll focus on the messages collection. This collection stores all communications exchanged between the bank and its customers. A typical document in the messages collection looks like this. Currently, this collection doesn't have any indexes, except for the default index on the _ID field. In this demonstration, we'll create a few of the indexes necessary to support queries on the messages collection. The queries that we'll focus on are a part of a workload that retrieves and filters messages for a user's inbox. Luckily, we have a framework to guide us through the process. To do this, we need to identify and analyze queries for key workloads, create the minimum number of indexes needed to support those queries, and monitor and maintain those indexes. We'll start by identifying and analyzing queries that retrieve messages for a user's inbox. At this stage, we want to identify common patterns and components shared across queries. With this information, we can create the minimum number of indexes that we need. This step will help us avoid creating redundant indexes. Ideally, identifying and analyzing queries will happen in a pre-production environment. However, as your application evolves, the nature of data access and query patterns may change, requiring adjustments to queries and indexes. To identify if a MongoDB collection needs an index, start by monitoring for slow-performing queries using MongoDB Query Profiler. For more information, check out our skill badge on monitoring tools. Let's take a look at the queries that we'll be working with in this demo. The first query is used to retrieve documents from the messages collection for a specific user, identified by user ID, where the document timestamps fall within a specified date range. The results are sorted in descending order based on the timestamp. This ensures that the most recent entries in the given date range appear first. This query pattern is commonly used for displaying recent activity or messages for a user within a certain time period. The second query is used to find all messages for a user within a time range and sort those messages by category. This feature helps users quickly find and manage important notifications related to specific categories, such as transactions, loans, or system updates. The final query filters documents by user ID and isRead fields. This query is used to track which messages have been read by a user. It can also be used to serve regulatory or compliance purposes by providing an audit trail of message engagement. Now let's compare the queries to see if we can find any similarities. By identifying similarities between our queries, we can determine the fewest number of indexes that we'll need to support them. Because in many cases, similar queries can be supported by the same index. All three queries filter documents based on the user ID field. The first two queries also filter within a particular date range using the timestamp field. The first sorts by timestamp, and the second by category. The third query filters using the isRead field in addition to user ID. Based on these patterns, we can create only 2 compound indexes to support all 3 queries. A compound index supports queries using 2 or more fields and can reference up to 32 fields. If you're coming from a relational database background, a compound index is similar to a composite index. Like a single field index, the leaf nodes of a compound index store field values and the record IDs that point to relevant documents in the collection. Notice that combined values are sorted first by the first field, or prefix, and then by the second field. Back to our example, we can use one compound index on user ID, timestamp, and category to support the first 2 queries. In addition to this index, we'll also need to create a compound index on user ID and isRead for the third query. So we will be able to support all 3 queries with just 2 compound indexes. While compound indexes are not the only type of index provided by MongoDB, they're the most commonly used. We'll explore creating the compound indexes for this scenario to learn how to apply best practices. Let's recap what we learned in this video. We introduced you to our example bank messaging app and explained why we need to create indexes on the messages collection. We took the first step in this process by identifying queries that can benefit from an index. Finally, we analyzed the queries to identify similarities. This analysis helped us develop the minimum number of indexes that efficiently support all our query requirements. So we've identified queries that support key workloads and examined those queries for common patterns and similarities. The next step in designing a good indexing strategy is determining how to structure compound indexes so that they optimally support those queries. In this video, we'll discuss how to order the index fields in a compound index. Then, we'll apply these concepts to our example bank messaging app. Let's get started. Before we start to design our first compound index, it's important to understand that the order that we arrange the fields in the index impacts how well it will support the query. First, the order of index fields determines if a compound index can support a query at all. MongoDB can only use a compound index to support a query if the query includes the index prefix. In MongoDB, an index prefix refers to the leading subset of fields in a compound index. Let's look at an example. So in this compound index, the index prefixes are A and AB. MongoDB can use this compound index to support queries with these field combinations: A, AB, and ABC. It cannot support queries that don't include the prefix, such as queries on fields B, C, or BC. The order of index fields also determines how efficient an index is for a particular query. So what are the design considerations we should make? Well, if we want to ensure that all operations are supported by an index, we should place equality fields first, followed by sort fields, and finally range filters. This field order is referred to as ESR, and it's a good place to start when thinking about how to order fields in an index. The most important thing to remember is that equality matches come first, like the equality match on the A field in this example. To understand why this is so important, let's look at what happens when this condition isn't met. We'll follow this index and see how it would support different queries. The field names in this index are A, B, C, and this list contains sample index values. Let's say we have a query with a range on A, equality on B, and sort on C. With this query, range comes first in our index order. If we use the index to perform a range on A, where A is less than 3, we can see that the index values of B and C are not in sorted order. So now, in order to do an equality match on B, we have to go through each of these entries to see which values match. This means that we can no longer use this index to efficiently do an equality match on B, nor can this be used to keep a sort on C from happening in memory. Let's look at a different query with the same index. Here, we're doing an equality match on B, a range on C, and sorting on A. With this query, sort now comes before an equality match in the index field order. Now, when we sort first, we run into the same problem with an equality match on B and the range on C. The values for B and C in the matching index are not sorted, and we have to go through each value to find a match and the correct range. This means that all index keys and all documents will be examined, usually resulting in very poor docs and keys examined versus return documents ratios. Now, let's look at what happens when we follow the ESR order. Here, we're doing an equality match on A, a sort on B, and a range on C, so the index is following the ESR order. Now, after we find equality matches on A, B is still in order, so our index can still keep the sort on B from happening in memory. We still have to check every entry within this group of index values to do a range on C. However, this will still be much more efficient than a collection scan. Okay, so equality must come first in order for an index to efficiently support a query. Does it matter if sort or range come next? Yes, because when a range comes before a sort in an index, the index can no longer support the sort operation. Take this example using the same index. With this query, we do an equality match on A, then do a range on B values that are less than 3. But now C is no longer sorted. This means that the sort will happen in memory if it follows a range. So in order to keep sort operations from happening in memory, place sorts before ranges in your index order. But it's also important to remember that ESR is just a guideline. The order that you use ultimately depends on your queries, the needs of your application, and business requirements. For example, there may be cases where it makes sense for you to choose equality, range, sort as your order, where you place a highly selective range after an equality match and before a sort. In this case, you would sort a small number of documents in memory. Now that we know more about index field order and ESR, let's apply the concepts that we just learned to our bank messaging app. These are the 3 queries that we need to create indexes for. They retrieve messages for a user's inbox using different filters. We identified similarities between the fields used to filter in the first 2 queries. Both include user ID and timestamp, while the second query also includes a sort on the category field. Because of these similarities, it looks like we can support the first 2 queries with one index. Based on our analysis of the queries, we know that our index will need to include 3 index fields for user ID, timestamp, and category. We just need to determine the order of the fields. Both queries perform an equality match on user ID, so if we follow the ESR order, user ID should be placed first in our index order as part of the index prefix. Next, both queries perform a range operation on timestamp. Then the first query sorts on timestamp, while the second query sorts on category. If we follow ESR and place category before timestamp, this index cannot support the sort and range operations in the first query. So what do we do? In our case, we estimate that the range on timestamp in both queries is highly selective, meaning that it will narrow down the number of documents processed in memory. We can place timestamp in the second position and category in the third position. Category placed in the third position cannot be used for a sort, but it is still useful for quickly finding the value of category before sorting in memory. So while this index will perform better for the first query than the second query, we predict that the performance will be good enough for our application's needs. If the range on timestamp was not highly selective, then we may need to reconsider our strategy and create 2 different indexes. This seems like the optimal order for our index fields, and we'll test it out to be sure when we create the index later. Ready to master the fundamentals of indexing design? Click the link in the description to claim your skill badge and boost your expertise. First, let's recap what we learned in this video. When you're building compound indexes with MongoDB, the order of your index fields matters. Index key order can determine if an index supports your queries and how efficient your index is. To ensure that your index supports your queries, make sure that the index prefix aligns with your query patterns. And to improve the performance of your indexes, order your index fields by following equality, sort, range, or ESR.